Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode, which is part one of our two-part adventure at the Absurd Conclave charity event for Puerto Rico hurricane relief in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Part one is jam-packed with a lot of craft beer and some awesome artist interviews. First up is Dylan Bauvez, creative director of King Killer Arts Brooklyn Creative. Some of you may remember Dylan from way back in episode 4, the Gowanus Pop-Up Art Gallery event, where his journey was just unfolding. Now, more than a year later, he returns to speak about his progress and what he's got planned next. Next up is the New York-based Latin band Los Ciegos Del Barrio, which translates to the Blind Boys from the Hood. The band, who has performed all over the world, also helps out numerous organizations in and out of disabled communities. They specialize in salsa, bachata, merengue, cumbia, bolero, reggaeton, and rock in English and Spanish. Then we have enigmatic singer and songwriter Debora and her classically trained pianist and composer husband John Allen Watts close out part one of our show. Debora's latest album, Samba ao Contrario, is described as an irresistibly catchy and deeply touching album that contains 14 original songs that reflect Debora Watts' great love and respect for classic Brazilian styles and rhythms. Now, the volume is slightly low for this one. We raised it as much as we could, but make sure you keep yours up when you listen. Debora and John are very talented, down-to-earth, and entertaining musicians, and you won't want to miss this awesome interview. By the way, the long-awaited and highly anticipated BTBT store is finally available at www.beertodaybeertomorrow.com. Get your dope custom glassware and awesome graphic tees today. More changes and updates to come, but the store is live. Go ahead and check it out. We hope everyone out there enjoys this week's show. Cheers. Hey guys, what's going on? BTBT is back at it, and we are in Bushwick, Brooklyn, acting as official co-sponsors of Absurd Conclave and Juice Garden BK's charity soiree fundraiser to raise money for Puerto Rico. A little bit about Absurd Conclave. This new sibling-owned Brooklyn enterprise is debuting their business this weekend with this community fundraiser focused on shopping, entertainment, art, food, wine, and beer. All ticket sale proceeds for the pop-up sample sale charity event for Puerto Rican hurricane relief will be donated directly to the Hispanic Federation Unidos, which is the disaster relief and recovery program to support Puerto Rico. Absurd Conclave is a 5,000 square foot venue available for events, workshops, art galas, beer festivals, and more, right in the heart of the trendy Bushwick scene, located at 360 Jefferson St, lower level, Brooklyn, New York, 11237. Gentlemen, the crew is in full effect. How are we doing?
Cheer. This is Justin. I'm glad to be here again.
Very glad to have you.
Yeah.
How you doing, Perry?
Pretty good. Definitely ready for another solid afternoon.
Another boozy afternoon with beer today, beer tomorrow. Click.
Hell
For
yeah.
sure. Goons. That's what we say there?
Goons,
How we
yeah.
roll.
It's BTBT Goons is how we do. And we got another special guest hopping on a little bit. Why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
It's Janair, also known as Janisage.
Janice. He'll be drinking in the background with us all day. And basically a little bit why we're here. So following the aftermath of the devastating near Category 5 Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rico was left in disarray and chaos. So now, even more than 6 weeks since then, 70% of the island still remains without power and sufficient supplies. So here we are getting together to drink excessively for a good cause, which is always nice, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Never been sad about that.
Just donating my liver to a cause.
There you go. So, we've got a lot of our own beer here, but, Absurd Conclave, they know how to put on an event themselves. They got a couple of kegs here. Probably the best thing they got is the Pale Ale by Sierra Nevada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Kool-Aid man.
So a little bit about Sierra Nevada, right? I mean, these guys are legendary. Founded in 1979 by Ken Grossman and Paul Camusi. They expanded their homebrewing hobby in a brewery in Chico, California. They started, rumor has it, the legend has it, they started with $50,000 in loans from friends and family. They rented a 3,000 square foot warehouse, and they basically pieced it together with discarded dairy equipment and scrapyard metal. Maybe that's where Rich got his inspiration from Bridge and Tunnel. Then later on, they were able to acquire secondhand copper brewing kettles from Germany before moving to their larger current brewing facility in 1989. Grossman actually learned to homebrew from the father of a close friend, and at an early age he just kind of took to it, and I guess the rest, the rest is history.
These are all facts.
These
All
are facts.
That's amazing.
These are facts.
He is a fact man. He
I am
breaks
a
this down
fact-
every
That's
time.
amazing.
Like,
Listen.
if you want to know the history,
I'm a journalist,
give it to you.
motherfucker. All right.
I'm just amazed.
You,
seeing this.
you want more knowledge? I'll drop some more knowledge on you, all right? So, look,
All right.
Ken Grossman knew he wanted to make a hop-forward pale ale, right? So he also knew that the key to convincing people to try the beer to come back for more was consistency. So he spent a lot of money, and he dumped a lot of batches so he can get that right recipe, those right ingredients. And basically, Sierra Nevada, was inspired by the tradition of brewing a special beer for the holiday season. And they brewed the very first batch of their Celebration Ale actually back in 1981. So, and that celebration is unique because it features the first fresh hops of the harvest season, and to this day it remains a really fresh take on the common spiced and sweet holiday ales. So it's actually also, here's a fun fact for you motherfuckers, Celebration is considered one of the first American IPAs and a benchmark of that style. Representing all day. In 1993.
so what does an American IPA mean?
It's basically, it's kind of like what you were talking about before, those old school, like the original inception of IPAs. They hopped it to make it last longer. I think America, as America tends to do, puts their own spin on things. They make things bigger, bolder, more extravagant. And the American IPA is like, what's a good way to put it? It's like a sexed up version of an IPA.
It's
like
more
enhanced
hop-forward.
breasts.
It's not nearly as malty usually.
Right.
Not nearly as multi.
Typically speaking.
Okay,
anyways.
big shout
But
out
even
to
there, you got the New England IPA, you got the West Coast IPA, we got the what do we call that? The mid Atlantic IPA.
Yes, we coined that phrase on the Brew for a Cure episode.
Okay.
You guys coined the phrase the Mid-Atlantic IPA.
Yo, big shout out to my man from Bridget Tuttle. He does it with the bagels. He got the New York IPA.
Yeah, major shout
Rich.
out to
Shout
Rich.
out to Rich,
Yeah,
man.
And we got a few beers from him. You picked up a few growlers from him today, right?
Yeah. We're gonna be drinking some Picking Up the Change Chipotle Nitro Porter.
Oh, yeah.
Say Chipotle.
Later.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chipotle
man.
in the beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit spicy.
I got some knowledge for you guys on this beer.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It has a bit of a kick to it.
It does, yeah. So last thing I'll say about Sierra Nevada, and eventually we will get to them, is that they're the seventh largest brewery in the U.S., and they were actually named Green Business of the Year by the United States Environmental Protection Agency in 2010 for their practices and
Oh, wow.
sustainability.
Okay.
They're really big on going green and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
major
they make
shout
my
out.
favorite beer actually.
Which would be?
Their estate harvest ale,
That is pretty
which
damn
is
good.
fully grown on their estate and is all organic now.
That's your favorite beer, just period?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bold claim. I can't even
Wow.
make that statement. I couldn't even tell you my favorite beer.
And you can't get that in the grocery store.
Actually, it's probably the only place I could get it, but it's seasonal.
Okay.
I mean, it's because it's bottles only. Or they have a really limited keg run. Usually, you get it in bottles.
Okay.
Like wax-topped Balmer bottles.
But the great
Okay.
thing about Sierra Nevada is that most of their stuff is pretty accessible.
oh yeah, they're definitely a national brand.
They're a
no question.
national brand. I mean, and they're independently owned to this day.
Yep.
That's what's up.
So shout out to Absurd Conclave for making the right decision, the craft beer decision.
Ken Grossman, we want you on our show.
Yes. Yeah, we'd love to have Ken Grossman on the show. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, you brought those Chipotle, the Picking Up the Chain Chipotle Porter.
Yeah.
So-
Wait, do we want to talk about the Finback first, or can we talk about that, or no? We're
Yeah,
gonna
let's talk about
that.
Finback.
Yeah,
Let's-
because that's
let's-
what we just had, right? We had that, and then we had the Pilsner.
So we had, so what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Finback?
Well, I think we all had the Pilsner, right?
Yeah.
All right,
had that Pilsner.
so we had, so it's the Pilsner's from Southern Tier, right? It's a Southern
Yeah.
Tier brewing company. They're out of Lakewood, New York, 2072 Stoneman Circle, Lakewood, New York 14750. The beer we had from them, basically it's their Pilsner. It's brewed with hops and malts imported from Germany, 5% ABV, 40 IBU. To brew this one, they use German Pils malt, 2-row malt, and wheat, and they create a firm malty character with a crisp finish. It's a traditional Pilsner malt bill, complemented by German lager yeast and German noble hops. I liked it. And their brewery is interesting, actually. I was actually reading the brewery's actually outfitted with an industry-leading quality lab, including a gas chromatography mass spectrometer, GC mass spec. And they use this device in their lagering process to minimize the amount of diacetyl, basically the butteriness.
Yep.
And I'm going to butcher this, acetaldehyde which
Acetaldehyde?
yes, I think I butchered that badly, but that's basically that green apple, that kind of flavor, which is the death of a beer. So these guys are like super like into it, and they're definitely, there's a strong German influence even by the way they set up their breweries and the way, what they built out. They're very, very heavy German influences there. But
okay. So what I want to know, what rating are you giving it on the Pete scale?
So,
Pete scale. We got the Pete scale. We got the Perry scale.
So I'll say this: I'm a little biased because I feel like if you want a great, all right. So I don't want to take anything away from anybody else that does pilsners. There's a lot of really well done pilsners, but I just feel like if you want a great pilsner, you're gonna get a German or Czech pilsner. That's just my 2 cents. Okay. With that said, I thought this was a very sessionable and enjoyable pilsner. It was crisp. It was a great interpretation of that style, of the German style. And I would, if there was any left, we pounded it before the show even started. I would keep drinking it. But not my.
Would you search it out?
I mean, if I could come across it and I was in the mood for a pilsner, I would definitely grab it and drink it. But if I had a choice of other pilsners per se that are more in my wheelhouse, I would probably go towards, like I said, the German and the Czech style. Some dude, he's chopping stuff up back there.
Chopping meat over here.
You said Czech Pilsner?
Yeah.
What's a good Czech Pilsner to try? I don't think I've ever had that.
There's a bunch. I mean, there's a few good. I mean, I think taking a step back, like you gotta know what style you like, right? So Pilsner is like crisp. It's like refreshing. I think Pilsner is the beer that bridges the gap between like craft and the non-craft world because it's so accessible. It's really it's a beer that everyone can really relate to. Sure. You're not going to get like overly complex flavors with it, but it does the job. It's light, it's refreshing, it's great in the summertime. It works in the wintertime. I mean, it's really that classic, one of the I don't know if legendary is the right term, but it's like a legendary staple of in beer history. But I'm curious, Perry, what did you think about it?
Yeah, the Perry scale.
I thought it was really clean as well. Very easy drinking. I do prefer when they're tweaked a little more hoppy, a little more going on. And this had a little bit of that going on too. So it's definitely like something I wouldn't seek it out because I tend to not do pilsners as often, unless there's something really interesting coming out.
Sure.
But very drinkable. Always, they tend to be really good about clean beers. Aside from the pumpkin styles.
Yeah.
For Southern Tier.
And it's funny you mentioned the pumpkin style, because I don't like pumpkin styles, but the pumpkin one that they do make, I think for the style, I can appreciate it.
So Pumpkin is the classic.
Yes.
But I actually prefer their dark beer that has pumpkin in it.
What's that one called?
Do you remember? I'd have to look up the name, but yeah, it's more of a like pumpkin stout, which is very different but delicious.
It sounds. I
think it's called Warlock.
Big shout out to Rich Bridge and Tunnel for his pumpkin sour that he has not had on tap for a while. You need to bring that shit back, man. Bring it back.
That's your home base, Bridge and Tunnel.
Oh man, it's just down the block. I'm up in there. I'm up in Bridge and Tunnel for sure.
So you guys want some more? Nerd facts about Southern Tier?
Yes.
Well, do we know what the name comes from? Because it's a New York brewed beer, right? I mean, a brewery.
Yeah, they're West New York.
They're
West
New
York.
Yeah.
Why is it called Southern Tier?
Well, that's actually a good question. I know that initially when they decided to open it, that was a big risk. People are like, why are you opening up a brewery in Western New York? There's nothing happening there. But it turned out to be a great move for them. I mean, the founders, Phineas DeMink and Alan Yan, they started the brewery with the vision of reviving the practice of small batch brewing. In 2002, they used old equipment from the old Saddleback Brewing Company in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And they began production in the woods just right outside of Lakewood, New York. And they got things moving. By 2003, select varieties of small batch ales were locally distributed. By 2005, they were selling in most of New York State and Pennsylvania. Soon thereafter, they added 800 barrels of fermentation vessels to the production area and a 7,500 square foot conditioning room. The brew house expanded and updated from a 20 BBL to a 50 BBL system. They replaced the bottling line with this is fucking interesting. They replaced the bottling line with the most high-tech, state-of-the-art bottling line of its size in North America. So get this, it fills caps and labels at 10,000 bottles per hour at full speed, which is crazy.
That's a lot. So they
My-
putting
my-
beer out there.
My friend used to be on the pre-crazy line.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, she helped out with the.
Or
helped out
she,
with-
rather.
Yeah, she was working on the bottling line and then was gonna brew with them for a little while.
Right.
Now she's actually a head brewer in Pittsburgh.
Get out of here. For where?
Rock Bottom, actually.
Yeah, I've never had them.
Like
How are
the
they?
bar?
Yeah.
Well, there's a
In the
bar in
waterfront.
Polish Hill.
No, Rock Bottom.
Yeah, Rock Bottom. Isn't that a bar in Polish Hill?
No, it's the chain that's all over it. The one in the waterfront.
Okay, because I know Rock Bottom. That's where you go time out from Gooskies.
Yeah, that's a different.
You know
Rock
what I'm
Bottom.
talking about.
I haven't been, but I
Anybody
know
listening
of it.
from Pittsburgh, you know what we talking about up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Rock Bottom's the chain. It's one of those, like brew pub chains all over the states.
Okay.
But it's down on the waterfront.
Okay.
Wow. So you gotta have her send us some beer, and we're gonna critique it on one of the shows.
Oh yeah, we definitely down for
I
that.
might try and bring some stuff back when I get
Hell yeah.
back from
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Now, when I think about Southern Tier, when I think about the South, I think about the Mason-Dixie line, like people south of that. That's it. I mean, that's what I'm curious about. Is like where that name comes from.
You know what? That I don't know. Do you know, Perry? I'm not sure.
Can't say it
Yeah.
either.
So that's something we can look up for
Yeah.
for a future episode.
I'll tell you this though. In 2013, they have this yeast parlor, and they call it the Yeast Wing, and they built it out, and it includes an automated yeast propagation and storage system. So yeast is harvested at 3 to 4 days old and extracted and drawn. So it's like 5 BBL from 100 BBL of fermenting beer. I mean, these guys got it down to a science. It's crazy. In 2016, they opened their distillery, and they also started the initial planning for the first satellite brewing facility, and they announced their partnership with Victory Brewing. And then they got 2 new 30 BBL fermenters along with their 2-barrel nano brew house. And then in 2017, they came to your guys' hood and opened their first satellite brew pub in Pittsburgh, the North Shore at 316 North Shore Drive.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's a German-built brew house, and they got local beers, and then they got their classic beers. I believe it's about 10,000 square. It's a 10,000 square foot beer garden, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're still working on that when I left, but
Yeah. It was supposed to open in the fall, but I heard it wasn't completely.
What neighborhood?
it's right between the stadiums.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Interesting little bit of history there for these guys. I like
he
what they're
breaks it
doing.
down.
Yeah, I mean they make a couple of good brews. I like what they're doing, and reading about before initially when I read about them, I was surprised to find out how big they really were. I just was like, oh yeah, they're this upstate brewery, Western New York. They do some good
they're
beers.
a powerhouse. You
They
just
are
don't
a
realize it.
powerhouse. Yes.
Yeah, like they're in when I was in Pittsburgh, that was kind of like, hey, we got some Southern Tier this weekend. And then I came here and like, oh, we got Southern Tier here. I was like, oh, these guys are a big deal.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, and then you wanted to talk about Finback, right?
Yeah, I really like that Whale Farm IPA.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
On
that
the
too.
Justin scale, we're going to give that a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5
So
right there.
I got to be honest. Now we're drinking this IPA. It's a collabo with Whale Farm, so it's an 8% DIPA dry hop with Enigma, Citra, and Mosaic. It's again, it was in collabo with Ale Farm Brewing, and now it's at 4 weeks old. And I got to be honest, I really enjoyed it when I first tried it, and maybe it's just me and my palate today, but I felt it was even better than when I initially had it.
Wonderful.
And I had it at week 1, and I had it at week 2, and now I'm trying it at week 4. Held up phenomenally, and it's tasty and delicious. And,
a big shout out to Finback. I think that your tap room is super inconvenient. Like it's like it's like you
hard to
take a
get there.
train, and then it's a 30-minute walk. That's wild. Like so you take an Uber from the train.
yeah,
To be
it's
fair,
like
even
tucked
single,
away.
Even single
Yeah.
cuts take a train and 15-20 minute walk.
It's a walk. It's Single Cut opened up like 3 blocks from where I grew up. So shout out to Dan, the real Action Bronson, Dan Bronson, Single Cut. So just going back. So yeah, Finback is out of the way.
The real Bronson is Charles Bronson.
That's true. That's the real Charles Bronson. Death Wish. So yeah, man, Finback is they're located at 7801 77th Avenue, Queens, New York. Queens all day, baby. Queens all day. Founded in 2011. They finally found space in 2013. They have a 20-barrel brew house, and they released their first beers in Queens in January of 2014. I was coming across, doing some reading about these guys, coming across an interesting comment from Basil Lee, who's one of the founders. And he basically said they really try to think about the level of bitterness and how they want to approach the bitterness of their IPAs. And I was thinking about this when I was trying that beer. And basically what he said is, they definitely want bitterness because it balances the beer and it gives it crisp dryness. But they also want it to go away quickly. So his exact words were they want bitterness, but they also want softness. They want bitterness that's fleeting. And I think that comes through very, very strongly in this collab that you and I tried. Perry, unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to try it. But we did trade some of these, so you have them sitting at home.
So it's all good.
I want Finback. We want you on this podcast. We need y'all on this podcast.
We gotta make it happen.
Yeah, we gotta make that happen.
And then the other one that I'm drinking on right now from Finback, from the same release last month, it's Currency, a 6.6% rye IPA, dry hop with Denali, Apollo. God, I'm gonna butcher this hop. Ekuanot, E-K-U-A-N-O-T.
Like Ekanau or something like that?
Yeah. I spit big words, but I can't spell them. It's bursting with dollars. They say it's bursting with dollars and cents because it's called Currency. Yuck. But basically, it was brewed with Long Island brewery Barrier, who I really enjoy as well. I thought this was a pretty good collabo. I'm enjoying it, but I definitely would say of the two, my preference lies with Whale Farm. And Whale Farm was really smooth at 8%. Did you feel it? Did you pick up on that 8%?
No, I did not. No, it's 8%. That's crazy.
Yeah, very smooth.
That's crazy.
Very smooth.
So yeah, get that Whale Farm. You get fucked up.
Yeah, man.
You get fucked up.
So what do you think? You guys want to? So
wait. Let's put that on the Perry scale. Let's put it on the Pete scale.
Well,
what are we saying?
Perry hasn't tried it
he
yet.
hasn't tried it.
Although
what
the Currency, I think I did try at Barrier, like an older batch.
Yeah.
Because I went out to pick up when they did the collab with Grimm.
Yeah, I heard those were good.
And I did a flight while I was at the brewery, and I remember having Currency while I was there. So,
thoughts on it?
As I recall, it was very, very easy drinking for what it is.
I'll say this about Currency: easy drinking, tasty, done well. For me personally, not overly memorable. I think the Whale Farm definitely makes a longer lasting impression for me. But I know that Janair is very interested in this Chipotle Porter. You want to bust that out?
Oh yeah. We're gonna get that Bridge and Tunnel out. We also got the Stickball and the Stickball Session IPA.
Yes. Yeah.
From Bridge and Tunnel coming later.
We do. And do we want to talk about what we had from LIC Beer Project?
You want to come back and do that like after we drink them? We just did drink that.
We did drink that before the show. We did drink the Hollows. But you know what? We'll talk about that a little later. Let's bust out the picking up the chains Chipotle Porter.
Okay.
So go grab that, and I'll give people a little bit of a background on that. I got
Okay.
So all right. So picking up the chain Chipotle Porter again. Shout out to Rich at Bridge and Tunnel, hardest working brewer in Queens. Queens local dude. Got to support. 6.2%. Porter, ABV, 40 IBU. It's served on nitro, which provides a rich and creamy platform. It's a robust porter. It offers a subtle chipotle pepper bite, and it combines that with a back-end bitterness. Rich's vision for this basically was dedicated to the 80s NYC hardcore bands and fans. So the name actually, picking up the change, it's a slam dance move that originated out of New York City back in the mid-'80s. So it's a nod to the New York City hardcore movement that had such a strong presence in the outer boroughs and lower Manhattan back in the 80s. So, man. So I guess Rich was slam dancing back in the day, and that's how he came up with this name. And we just poured this all out, and even Janair, a.k.a. Janice Sag, is getting in on the action. And he's pouring himself a tiny little pour. Justin's selling him, don't be a big fat pussy.
Just in case, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so let's everyone give this a try. Do you want to hop on the show?
Yeah, if you got time.
Yeah. All right, so we're actually going to bring in, can you help? We're actually going to bring in a guest can we pour him a little bit of you want a spicy beer?
Spicy, like actually spicy?
Like actually, like a spicy kick to it. If not, we can give you something else. We got a lot of beer here.
Something else. Thank you very much.
We'll give you some of this then. Here you go. So we're gonna pour. So we got a special guest, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Dylan Bauvez. It's a pleasure to be back on the show. It's
Absolutely.
been a while.
It's been a while, man. We had you
Yeah.
back, I think it was like episode 4 or 5.
Something like that.
We had this awesome art show that we were doing, actually right down the block from Other Half. So how you doing, man? You've been doing a lot. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, boys.
You've been
Thanks for having
doing
me.
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely. So you've been doing a lot of you've been doing a lot of good stuff, man. I see you everywhere. I see you putting up murals. You put up a mural here at Absurd Conclave. You're making moves, man. Tell us what's been going on.
I've just been hustling hard since we last saw each other. I've probably been involved. I've personally curated like 20 events, and I've put up probably like 10 murals in the city.
Wow.
That's what's up.
Building my name, trying to do as much as I can, just working hard.
Yeah, man. And I saw the other day, you getting into putting your artwork on shirts too?
Yeah, so I'm trying to build my brand out as much as possible, whether it's t-shirts, murals, I'm doing body painting, curating events,
I see
selling
that.
art.
I see that. I've been seeing he's doing body painting videos. He's got
Okay.
he's got these shorties taking the tops off. He's painting them. That's
Hey,
awesome.
man, I respect that life pad. That sounds great.
Well, actually, outside, I don't know if you noticed when you came in, but he did one of the murals right outside on this building.
Okay, that sounds. Need to peep that.
Yeah, check it out.
I think the last time that I saw you, you were curating a show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys actually, I don't know if you remember, you guys actually met the night before that show where we did the podcast. That was a place right down the block from Other Half. And that was a show he was curating with also Alex Rabayo, who's somewhere around here tonight,
Yeah,
and
I
a ton
saw
of
him.
other really talented artists. That was a good time, too. We got fucked up at that event.
Hell yeah.
We got fucked up at that event.
Alex gave me a crazy opportunity for that event, and it honestly started my creative career here in New York, allowed me to build a network and, take something from nothing and turn it into something beautiful. And since then, my name has kind of allowed me to do all these things that I'm doing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. So you got any upcoming events that you want to talk about? You got some stuff going there?
I'm going to Art Basel.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
I'm going to Art Basel, and I'm getting up and representing Brooklyn hard. Miami.
Shit.
Yeah. I'm going with this gallery called Aced Gallery, ACED.
Yeah.
They were just working with a show I did with First City Project in Glen Cove. It's a graffiti mansion. It was a historical home, brought in over 100 artists. We covered the house. But yeah, he worked with Aced Gallery, and he approached me and asked if I wanted to come to Miami and do some live body painting at his booth at Spectrum. So I'm going there. I'm going to do some body painting with his modeling agency that he works with, and I'm getting up hard. I got like 5 walls ready to go.
Nice. Nice, man. That's awesome. And you recently became an art director as well. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so in the neighborhood that I started with Alex in Gowanus, there's this guy named Dave Bunting. He owns a recording studio called King Killer Studios, and he brought me in as a resident artist at first, and he gave me an opportunity to curate a courtyard, and within 2 weeks I had like 15 artists in there painting. And he said, let's start an art department. I want you to be creative director of the art department. So that's where I'm at now. So I got a little
Congratulations.
studio,
Yeah,
creative
man.
director. Like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, making it happen. I mean,
Not
I feel
bad.
like that event was maybe like a year ago, and you've come so far, made so much progress in that year, man. It's so dope.
Thank
Right?
you. I
And
appreciate
you're
it.
not from New York, right?
No, I am.
Oh, you are from New York. Okay.
Born and raised in Long Island.
Long Island. Okay.
Long Island, 631.
That's
And
what's up.
And if I remember correctly, you were a soccer guy, right? You were into soccer, right?
Yep.
You still watch it all?
I don't watch it as much, but I still play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I definitely still play. But yeah, I'm actually wearing the championship ring right now from
shit.
Winthrop University. I was feeling good today, so I put the championship ring on. But
That's
yeah,
what's up.
Big South champs.
Good shit, man. Good shit. So, I mean,
What made you get into like body painting?
he wanted to see titties.
Well, there's an honest answer to that, and then there's another one.
No, but I mean, I've seen. So I mean, obviously, I'll let Dylan get into it. But the stuff he does it's really dope. It's really cool. Yeah.
No, I got approached by a woman who asked me to paint her, and we decided to do it live at an event that I was a part of. And since then, like I've been in contact with a couple of women that have asked me to paint them. And yeah, it's been on the up and up. I really enjoy it. It was actually my first time ever using paint brushes my first time was on a woman's body, and now I'm producing art with brushes.
Wow. So how was that? Like, what was it an adjustment? I mean, from painting from a canvas or a wall?
I was nervous as hell.
Yeah?
I was very nervous, especially doing it live. But yeah, I love it. Love everything about it. I'm pushing it hard now.
Like, so what do you do if, like, you make the wrong stroke or something? Like, is it easy to, like, correct mistakes? Or
I
it's
just
like,
tell them it's the right stroke, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's
Even
up,
if
man.
I know it's a shitty move,
All right.
Okay.
Look, a lot of variables in body painting, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So you have any? Are there any local events you're doing that you want to talk about? Anything coming up in Brooklyn?
No, because I'm leaving town next week on the 21st. So
Okay.
I'm going to the Carolinas to see my family for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And then from there, I'm going right to Miami.
Nice.
So right now, Miami's all the thing on my mind. I just got a couple of commission pieces I'm working on, trying to save up some money and go.
I see you, because winter is coming. You know what I'm saying?
Winter is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great move getting out to Miami now, man. That's awesome move, man. So I mean, if people want to find out more about you, like where you have social media, website, like
Yeah, so I've been advertising everything on my Instagram. My Instagram is Bauvez, Bauvez, and that's where I update everything that I'm doing, whether it's body painting, murals, events, travel, anything. But I'm really pushing the brand, and then you can also follow me at kks.arts. Because like I mentioned previously, I'm now creative director of King Killer Studios. And I'm pushing that too. Had a lot of really talented artists come in and do the damn thing, you know?
hell yeah, man. So, for the audience members who may not be familiar with what you're doing, like how would you describe, your whole vibe? How would you describe your art to them?
Describe my art to them.
Yeah.
So my art's a complete freestyle, kind of like my life, you know what I mean? I really don't come from much of anything. I take the opportunities that are presented to me in the now and roll with it. Same thing I said to you, almost a year ago. And, that's where I've gotten to where I'm at. Like, my art is a complete freestyle art based off the energy that I'm currently possessing at the time, based on shit that I'm going through, shit that I've seen. And yeah, I mean, it's just vibrant colors. And I'm building out these characters. I've actually named my characters at this point. I call them my Wild Things.
All right.
And I've got a Wild Things series that I'm pushing. I've done around 10 murals, 10 Wild Things that hit the streets. And, people are really liking them. But the most positive feedback I get from my viewers come from the children. The children really interact with the Wild Things really, really positive way. Yeah,
There you go.
That's
really
what it's
cool.
all about,
Yeah, man. Wild Things it's for the children. There you go. There you go, man. That's awesome. What do you think of the beer you're drinking, by the way?
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's crisp Pilsner.
What is
It's a 6-point Pilsner, so it's a Pilsner from a Brooklyn spot.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, you know me, I like Budweiser.
Hey, man.
But I like this one too. It's good.
There you go. There you go, man. So you guys have any questions for Dylan?
I think I asked the one that the question that I did have. No questions. Well, yeah. And let me know if you do any body painting lessons. Yeah, let me know if you do any body painting lessons.
Body painting lessons.
Yeah, let me know.
It's funny. I'm actually, I'm open to it. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to bring your own model. Like, the more the merrier.
I don't think he wants to be painting you.
Exactly. I'm trying to paint. No, I'm joking.
We can make it happen.
That's awesome, though.
I'm gonna be actually, I'm gonna be on this reality TV show soon.
Really?
And it's called First Date New York. So they have me they put me in a room with 10 girls. I interviewed with each one. They picked the one that was most compatible. And they're setting me up on supposedly a blind date. I've never met the one that they paired me up with.
Right.
But we're going to a paint and sip class. And she's a wild chick. I'm a wild boy, you know what I mean? So what's going to happen is halfway through the class, we're just going to be fed up with it. And I'm going to start body painting her for the TV show.
Nice. Can you talk about when that's going to come out? Can you?
So we were supposed to start filming this week, but we had to push it back due to someone with some family issues or whatever. So when I get back from Miami, we're gonna push it.
That's pretty
Shit,
cool.
look at you,
Supposedly
man.
he's gotten it picked up by BET too.
Yeah? Shit, look at that.
Yo.
A year ago on the podcast, he comes back a year later. He's got reality shows. He's going to Miami for
Getting
our
on
shows.
that
Good shit.
BET, holla.
On BET. Good
Hustling,
shit.
man. Just hustling.
Yeah,
really
man.
just doing anything I can to push this name. I'm passionate about what I do. I love it. I'm not one to want to sit behind a desk and get a job like that. I'm 25, when we last spoke, I was 24. A lot's happened in a year. I'm excited to see what comes, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of time left.
I respect it, man. That's awesome. I mean, you're just out there literally.
Keep moving.
You're hustling,
For sure.
yeah, keeping it moving and hustling, man. It's fucking awesome, man.
Thanks,
Cheers
man.
to you.
Yo, cheers to you, man.
Cheers, man.
And I'm keeping up with you guys, too. I see the business is growing. I'm very impressed with how fast it is growing.
Thank you, man. I mean, we're just trying to get out there. You know, we're trying to bring good conversation and good beer to people, and we're trying to get in all kinds of events. And, you know, it's not just like when we did that art show. It's not just about it being a craft brewery or it being a craft beer fest or whatever. Like, you know, there's beer involved, and beer is the conduit, but beer is the conduit for life for us. So we'll go, you know, we love talking to artists like you. We love talking to, like, all kinds of people, and just, you know, we like getting fucked up while we do it.
Yeah. I enjoy this. I appreciate what you guys do, and like getting on a personal level with the people you're interviewing. Like, that's something special. You know what I mean? Everyone needs their time to shine.
Absolutely, and you know, we really love bringing people on and giving them that opportunity, especially like what you're doing, man. I really like the shit you're doing, man. I think it's awesome.
Yo, thank you.
And I'm really so glad to see. I mean, from a year ago to now, I mean, you're doing it, man.
Thanks, man.
You're fucking doing it.
I'm doing whatever I can because I love it. You know what I mean? I love everything about it.
That's where it stems from. If you got that passion, man, you just stick with it, and you know it'll happen from there.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, man. Is any final parting words you want to leave our audience with, man? Anything they should know about you and your art?
Not much besides, you know, just if you know who I am, just keep up with me because I'm telling you, something crazy's about to happen. No one really knows yet, but something crazy's coming real soon.
Oh, okay. That sounds great.
That's the
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bauvez, Dylan Bauvez.
That's right. There we go. Shout out to Dylan Bauvez, man. Check him out. Check his art out. He's dope. He's on Instagram. That's the best way to find his art. Yeah, every so often, every year, you can catch him hanging out with Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. Man, Dylan, thanks so much for hopping on the show. I know you got a lot going on today, and you got a lot coming up, but I appreciate your time, brother.
No, I appreciate everything, man. Seriously, thank you.
Sure, you want a little more beer?
No, I'm good. I got a meeting I got to get to, but I wanted to stick around and talk to you guys because I love what you guys do.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. Good luck with the meeting, and we'll do this again soon. It won't be a year.
It won't be a year this time. Yeah. And you still have my extension cord.
I still have your extension cord. I do. I'm giving you that extension cord back. You gotta let me know where you are, and I'm gonna bring you that goddamn extension cord. It's been sitting in the same place in my closet for a year. All right, and so yeah, Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We were kicking it with Dylan, awesome, dope artist. Definitely check him out, support his art. We're gonna take a quick break, drink some more beers, and we'll be back. This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We are back at it, and we have three very special guests. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Alvin Suarez. I'm the band director. The band is called Los Ciegos Del Barrio.
I'm Derek Suarez. I'm Alvin's twin brother, and I'm the bass player most of the time. Play some keys as well, and we all do vocals as well.
Jimmy Fontanes. I play percussion, and in this gig today, I'm playing keyboard.
All right. So, guys, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Tell us a little bit about your band.
Well, we are from East Harlem. We play all types of Latin music. We're bilingual. We play salsa, bachata, merengue, bolero, rock, reggaeton. We do it all. We've been all over the northeast of the United States. We've been to Texas, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Atlanta, Georgia, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Moscow, Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're pretty well traveled. We have 5 albums out. We're going to be working on our 6th next year.
Did you hang out with my boy Putin?
No, he wasn't in power back then. That was pre-Putin.
Okay.
Pre-Putin. All right. So you have a 6th album coming out. Can you tell us do you know when that's going to come out?
I think it'll be, I would say, maybe a year from now. We're going to start working on it when the new year flips. But the current one that we have right now is El Futuro, which is still doing pretty well. That includes our version of Mama Used to Say, as well as a whole bunch of originals, different genres.
Okay, cool. So how did you guys first get together? How did you guys start your group?
We got together. Well, we actually we've been playing since we were kids. We're playing together since we were kids.
The three of you.
Well, there are actually four of us. There are core four members. One of them is not with us right now. But the three of us sitting here, along with the fourth member. His name is Machete. He's our regular piano player. The four of us have been playing together since we were kids. We used to go to a buddy's house out in Queens, and we used to do just kind of jam every single weekend. So that was like literally before our voices changed. Our voices were still kind of high. So that was like early '80s, and then in the mid '80s, after having been separated for about 5-6 years, we reunited in high school and just started playing again. And we used to play not only Latin music, but we used to do some jazz, some rock, a little bit of everything. And then once we all graduated from high school, we just kind of stuck together and did a few things with another buddy of ours, an old teacher, music teacher named Elliot. And he was just kind of our mentor and literally taught us pretty much everything that we know about music and about the business itself. And so then Alvin decided to form the Los Ciegos Del Barrio in 1997, and that was after a trip to the Dominican Republic that kind of inspired him to put the group together. And 20 years later, here we are, just still doing our thing, still having a good time, still acting like we're 10, 16 years old, and just having a lot of fun.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how do you guys get your inspiration for music? Like, what inspires you to make the music that you do?
Yeah, Jimmy.
A lot of what we listen to on the radio, and sometimes even just getting together and noodling, and eventually we just kind of come up with something. The Beatles are also a big inspiration, mainly because of their vocals, and hence the reason why we all sing, and we almost kind of sound like the Beatles with all the four-part harmonies and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much our thing.
Very cool. Very cool. So, just taking it back a little bit. So I know you guys talked a little bit about how, like when you guys first met. So how did you guys first meet?
Well, Derek and I are twin brothers, so that part was easy.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of had birth, but you guys were the other two guys in the group.
Yeah, and then as Derek mentioned, we met through jam sessions with another childhood friend of ours. Although I think we went to day camp, summer camp together as well. Jimmy did anyway. So, just kind of through the community, the blind and visually impaired community, as well as the musicians community here in New York.
Now, you mentioned you guys were jamming out in Queens. I'm a Queens guy. Just curious, where in Queens were you guys doing it?
If memory serves us correctly, it was out in Queens Village, actually.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
that's
out
right.
there.
Queens,
Out there.
love having the Queens people on the show. Love it.
This is a whole thing right now. Every time it's Queens, he has to yell Queens.
It's my favorite borough.
There you go.
It is. I
There you
love
go.
Queens.
Absolutely. So where can people find out more about you guys if they want to listen to your music or learn more about your group? Where can they go?
Sure. Well, we do have an official website, losciegosdelbarrio.com. I think there's also a shorter version of that URL, which is losciegos.com. But we are also on Facebook, Los Ciegos Del Barrio. Or I think the personal page, I'm sorry, that's the band page. The profile says Ciegos Del Barrio. But they didn't let us put the Los in there for some reason.
Bastards.
And then on Twitter, that's just ridiculous, right? And then in Twitter, we are Los Ciegos. And then YouTube, we're Los Ciegos Del Barrio. And then Instagram, we're Los Ciegos Del Barrio on there. So
is there
we're
one
all over.
song like if they go to your website that you guys would recommend? Fully encapsulates.
I would say maybe Mama Used to Say or Baby Boy, which is our most popular song this year. Any one of those two songs.
Right, we literally have something for everybody. For salsa fans, we have salsa. For music in English, we have plenty of music in English as well, originals. We have a lot of fusion. We have a couple of rock bachatas written by my brother Alvin. One of which is doing quite well right now. The Baby Boy. We've got merengue as well. We've got bachata. We've got a little bit of reggaeton, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Literally just something for everybody. So, Yeah, we could pretty much recommend anything depending on the genre.
Wow. So, what would if you guys? You guys obviously have a diverse selection. Is there certain styles that you guys kind of gravitate to personally that you like more than other stuff?
Well, in the most recent years, it's been the timba, which is kind of like Cuban funk.
Yeah.
So that when we went to Cuba, we went twice, and both times that we went, we were really drawn by the music that gets produced over there. And a lot of that stuff, some of the stuff you hear back in the States here, but most of it, the real good, I guess I can say the real good shit is over there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it just. Even though the reggaeton, the cubaton it's just fire.
Right.
Good stuff. And so we gravitate towards that rhythmically, which is the reason why we decided to sort of make the 4-piece sound more like an 8-piece with Alvin playing the timbales, playing, different cowbells. And then normally I play congas. So when it's the both of us, we basically do the job of probably 3 or 4 percussionists because we fill it up. And then our regular keyboardist is another one that can just fill it up with all his melodic statements and stuff.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. So I got to ask, are you guys big beer drinkers?
Yeah, mine is gone. It was gone. It was gone like 2 minutes into the interview. So
would you like a little more beer? Would you guys want a little bit more
I
beer?
could definitely do another one.
more.
You want to do a
from my
little
belly, I'm definitely a
Johnny
big beer fan.
Stickball from Bridget Tunnel? Yeah. So we got something some beer from a
I think
Thank
we
you.
only had like a minute or
Queensboro.
two.
Hey,
Beer today, beer tomorrow, beer forever.
There you
Beer
go.
forever.
Hey, you said you had a minute or two. That's a minute or two you can drink.
That's
There you go.
yeah. That's all I need for a beer.
That's all you need. We'll give you
Yeah.
guys a little more. I mean, we really appreciate you guys coming on the show. And I mean,
Thanks, guys.
We were listening to your set. It was awesome. Is there anything else you'd like the audience to know who may not know about you guys? Like anything about your group, about you guys? Anything you want them to know?
I would say that music is a language. Music is a movement. I mean, it's one thing to just kind of turn on the radio and just listen to it, but I think it's taken for granted here in the United States especially. If you look us up, we are also a community-based band. It's nice to make money, it's nice to get some recognition and stuff like that, but there's a lot more to it. I think music is a real powerful thing for anyone, especially bands and other acts that really get out there and work hard for what they do. So I would suggest just not taking musicians for granted, because we work our butts off out here, and there's so many of us that have meaning to what we do. Just learn about the bands a little bit. Look us up and look up a lot of your favorite bands. Most likely there's a lot of story behind the music, and that's including us. So yeah. Don't take the musician for granted here in the States.
Right.
Absolutely. I think that's very important. It seems like that's happening a lot in this MP3 age. People taking advantage of artists.
Yeah.
But I do have a totally unrelated question. You guys are twin brothers.
Yeah. Yep.
Who won the fights growing up?
We used to make each other laugh, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, like we would start off
punches.
fighting and we would just
and it would just get kind of funny,
end laughing.
So it was always a draw.
It was always a tie.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
And it still works out that way even today.
Yeah.
There you go. So
There's nothing that a good flatulent can't solve.
More beer.
there you go.
I drink to that.
Drink to that, guys. Perry, any questions? Any questions for our guests here?
Can't think of anything right now, to be honest.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
It's really cool. Like, great music for the event. It was awesome.
You guys hip hop guys and all, we big gangster guys over here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gangsta. Yeah. you could just see it. It's all over us. We're repping like opposite gang colors, the wrong colors, the wrong signs. It's all over.
There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. You guys did an awesome set, and we'll definitely be on the lookout. We'll check out your YouTube page. We'll share your YouTube page on our social channels, and looking forward to that album coming out next year.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. And we'll
look you guys up too.
Yep, and we'll let everybody know once the album is
Yep.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. All right. Cheers with beers. Not like a blind toast. That could go anywhere.
That could go anywhere. Hey. We're drinking beers. That's all. That unites us.
Yep. Sometimes we don't even need a cup.
There you go. There you go. Beer today, beer tomorrow. Kicking in with some very talented musicians, having a good time here at Absurd Conclave. We'll take a slight break, and we will be back with some more guests.
We'll be back.
Cheers. So this is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We are back, and we have two very, very special guests that we're so happy to have on the show. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Debora Watts.
And I'm John Watts.
Awesome. So guys, Debora, John, tell us what you guys do.
Well, we do Brazilian music. We try to go to the roots of Brazil and kind of bring up everything from the last 100 years, actually, and kind of reformulate it and make it fresh. And yeah, that's kind of basically what we do. Debora's a composer now and just released a CD of all our own original music that was recorded in Brazil.
Oh, wow.
It was really exciting, and it's doing really, really well. It's on television, and so we're just trying to build a career between both countries.
So how did you guys get into that? Like, what influenced you?
Well, I was always a lover of Brazilian music, but I went to school for pharmacy, which is not unusual. A lot of Brazilian musicians, we have to go to school because music and art is not something that is taken seriously by our parents. So I came to the U.S. as a pharmacist. So I met John, who is his soul is musician. Everything about him is music. So we started working together, and when I knew we had a band, and I abandoned pharmacy.
I think it was a good choice. We heard your set. I mean, the set was really, really, really nice. I definitely enjoyed listening to it. So, what first got you into it? Like, what was it about it? It was just like it just called to you. Like, how did you get into it?
That's my main question. Is like, what is it about Brazilian?
Yeah.
Music?
Like, what?
My best friend. My best friend is he's really big into Brazilian funk. Like, he's a producer. He produces for like Wiz Khalifa and like people like that, and he's just like, yeah, Brazilian funk, that's the best thing that I've ever heard in my life. So what is the best? What makes that?
Well, I was born in Brazil, and I always loved music. For me, it's like just normal. For John, I think it was when you got a CD from Elis Regina that you discovered the love of music, right?
Yeah, I was playing in alternative rock bands mostly. And a friend of mine gave me a CD of the kind of iconic singer named Elis Regina, and it was like, whoa, where did this come from? And so I just started listening to it. And also, for some reason, even though I was a rock musician and R&B and playing all that stuff, I was always going to SOBs. I don't know if it's still there, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a major rap. That's a major rap spot,
now,
too.
But
yeah.
It's Sounds of Brazil. That's the name of the place.
Sure.
And originally, it was literally like, everybody was a Brazilian artist. And I'm like, this is like in the late 80s. And I'm like, this music is so great. And I kept going there, not really knowing what it was, just loving the vibe and the rhythm. And then, like, a few years later, a friend of mine gave me the CD. And I literally, like, over 2 years, I just did, like, a major conversion. And I was just like, I got to learn this shit. And I have to really study it and get a handle on it. I think maybe because my mother's Italian and she sang a lot of French music when I was a kid.
That's cool.
Right. Like, Brazilian music for me blends, like, jazz and R&B and classical with these really great rhythms. So it was just kind of like, I love everything about it.
And then when we got together, I started introducing him to more artists.
Yeah. It's endless. Like,
then he'll be like, "Why don't you sing?" Oh, and that's how it started.
I was pushing Debora actually to sing because I was like, "Come on, you're a Brazilian, and I'm dying to play this music."
Right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. I mean, you guys both. I mean, from very early on, you guys are very influenced into the musical scene, right?
It's so weird because we come from different countries, and yet we totally vibe in on the same music. Like, yeah.
So
that's really beautiful.
That really is. And just springboarding off that, I'm curious, how did you guys first meet?
The same guy that introduced me to Brazilian music introduced me to Debora.
Wow.
He was a friend of mine.
This is a good guy, right? This is a good guy, right?
He is, of course, he was the best man when we got
married. Okay, makes sense.
You guys are still friends.
Makes sense.
You're still friends.
Totally, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
Great graphic designer. Shout out to Silvio da Silva if anybody needs any IT or whatever they do on the web.
It's so funny. He's so into music that his daughter became an amazing singer.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Martina da Silva,
Yeah,
amazing.
Martina da
Jazz,
Silva is his daughter. She's a pretty famous jazz singer now. She's plays at Dizzy's and everything. And
I
she's
think you
amazing. Check
attract,
her out.
right? If you're in a Brazilian, if you're a lover of music, you attract people in there.
Right.
Whatever you do that you love, you attract people.
You put that passion out.
Absolutely.
I think you draw in certain types of people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This man with his beard.
Yeah. I brought these guys in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Can you take us through like how many gigs do you guys do a year? And what's it like?
It varies, Like
Yeah.
we started out doing a lot of weddings and just parties and cultural events and playing for the Brooklyn Museum. And truthfully, like we didn't know what the shit we were doing. We were just started playing, And luckily in New York, you have the best musicians, right?
Sure.
So we kind of just learned by doing it. Like we never really, spent like years learning it. We just started literally gigging like a few months after we decided we wanted to do this, and it was pretty like shaky, but we've been doing it for 20 years now, so we're lucky now. We got to play with so many great musicians in New York. Like a lot of Brazilians came to Berkeley, and they studied jazz, so they're like jazz cats, but they also play Brazilian music. And most of the musicians that we know are like that. They're really amazing. Well, Cesar's a different story. He lived in Italy actually, and he's Brazilian, and he's like the most ripping, ridiculous 7-string guitar player we know, and he's one of the few guys that didn't go to Berkeley, right?
Yeah. But the one good thing about this life of being a gigging musician is you're always in the moment. You never know where you're going, what's gonna be like,
Right.
and I love that.
That is cool.
That's very.
You never know. You can
like
find
you
yourself.
never know what's gonna happen.
You never
You just roll with it.
So
you know what I mean?
your days are
It's like-
never the same.
Right.
You're
So
never
that
sitting in
is-
front of a computer like, hey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always something new, something different, right? There you go. You never know. You can find yourself on an evening in Bushwick in Brooklyn, right? And
And New York drinking beer, and
there you go.
What's the craziest gig you guys have?
Oh, I
Like
remember.
weirdest,
Try to
maybe.
forget them.
I remember. It was 50th wedding anniversary of a couple in Long Island.
Okay.
And we got there, and there was this tent outside, and we had to go from inside the house to get outside, but everybody had to remove the shoes to protect the floor. It was a very strange.
Wow.
So we go in the backyard, and nobody really cared about the music. And I was like, why are they having music here? And then it started to rain, and a part of the tent fell on the gas, but they could not be inside because of the floors.
I mean,
Wow.
literally, we have like amplifiers and shit, and
We're talking about a huge mansion.
and we're
I'm sure they
playing
could put new
on
floors.
a soaked platform. I mean, we could have been electrocuted like that.
So
right?
we said to people,
They
please
wouldn't
don't
let us
come
in
on
the house.
stage.
Wow.
We
It was
cannot,
like pristine. It was
So
like,
that was like the funniest. It was a private event. That was and then they had a comedian who came and absolutely insulted the couple with lots of sexual jokes, and they were loving it. So I
Really?
was like, look, I don't think it pays to be nice here. We should have been more nasty or something.
Right,
So
right.
that was I never forgot. Everything was upside down.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But you see, you never know where you're going.
You never know,
you
right?
never know.
And speaking of that, you guys were recently on Vice TV, right? You were on Action Bronson's show. Fuck, that's delicious. Shout out to Queens all day.
Yeah.
How was that?
He was great. I mean, well, the producer called us, and we really didn't know much about him. I'm so sorry to say that.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's
That's
totally
fair. He's dope, but not everybody knows Action
Yeah,
Bronson.
I
That's
would be
fair.
surprised if you did. Like, I mean, like most people are like, you know, Action Bronson.
Well,
yeah.
if you're under
The
a
younger
certain age,
people,
younger
they
than
know,
us,
they
like
know.
you
Even
guys,
most younger people
People
don't
know.
know. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, he's not a household name. He's popular.
not.
If you're from Queens, you might know him, but
Yeah.
he's
You're
not.
Albanian.
So
If
we
you're
almost-
there you go. There you go. You're
if you're
Albanian,
born
you
under a
definitely
rock
know him.
in
You definitely
Iceland,
know
you will
him.
not know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the producer calls us, and so we didn't really know if it was something to take seriously or not. And we were in the process of moving, from Queens, which we've lived in Astoria for 20 years. We moved up to Yonkers, so we were kind of really busy and not really paying too much attention. And next thing you know, I'm like sending them track mixes because they wanted to sing without a band because they have a band, blah, blah, blah. And then they sent a contract, and I didn't even bother reading it, like the release, and the release was so like onerous. I mean, it said like, basically giving them the rights to, take anything for as long as they wanted to and sell it to another producer even. Wow. So I'm like at 12:30, I'm on like my laptop, saying, hey, this contract's a little funky. I don't know if we can really go with this,
Yeah.
This is like the day before the taping. And so then they contacted their legal department in California, and they said, okay, we'll work it out. And we show up at the place, and they literally rewrote the contract for us. I felt so
and they
bad.
were extremely organized. I don't
yeah.
think it was something like standard that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
Yeah,
made
I'm not a
so
lawyer, but I looked at it and I
organized.
was like, I'm a New Yorker. I'm not going to sign just any old thing that you throw in
Yeah.
front of my face.
I
It's
respect
like,
that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
you shouldn't just
especially
sign
as an
anything.
artist, because there's a gazillion horror stories going back
Yeah.
to as long
You
as
could
music
potentially
has
get
been recorded.
screwed. I mean, you
Totally.
gotta look read between the lines.
Yeah,
As
and
long
it was
as
like they could
musicians have
basically
been
own
around.
everything that we did there, and then sell it to another producer. Like, I'm okay with him using it and that show using it, right? So
It was great.
Yeah, so
They
we
were
got
very,
there. They
very
rewrote
nice.
the contract, which was really sweet.
So was he cool? Like,
He was
was
awesome.
Action Bronson? He was a good guy.
Everybody,
Yeah,
the producers
yeah.
were
Lauren.
great.
Yeah.
The producers were fantastic. Everybody on the show was fantastic, and he was super sweet.
Yeah.
Really, just it was just a fun experience, and
I
he's
love
totally spontaneous. So, like Deborah was saying, when you're a musician, you try to just go with it.
Right.
I'm playing bingo in the corner and having fun. throwing
It's a
cards
good
at
show. I mean, I like his show. I like it.
It's not fuck that's delicious though.
No,
It's not that.
it's called The Untitled. Yeah.
The Untitled.
So I thought
Oh,
we were
okay.
actually gonna get a title
Action
before we.
Bronson show.
Yeah.
The
'cause
Untitled.
They contacted us
Action
before it actually aired. And
So wait, did they
episode-
change the name of the show?
No,
It
they're
just
calling it
started.
The Untitled Action Bronson.
Yeah, it started.
I think they're just making it like, hey, we like Action Bronson,
Okay.
and we don't want to have him just in a food setting. Like
Okay.
that's what it seems.
And they're
like.
probably trying to make it more
Exactly.
accessible to the public, because if you call someone "fuck that's delicious,"
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
there's, that you kind of weed certain people out off the bat. So
Yeah.
Untitled makes a little more sense.
What they explained to me when I got there, because I was like, what is exactly the show about? What I couldn't understand because they didn't air any
They didn't
episode
really tell
yet.
us what it was about.
So one person explained to me that it was a cooking show, as if it was in somebody's apartment with friends.
Okay.
So that made sense, because
Yeah.
everybody, if when you watch it, you see everybody's. It's like a party.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking, and everybody
Sure.
there has something to share about their business. So I thought it was so cool he's doing, because the recipe of success is always helping people. It's not just
Agree.
right. So
Yeah.
every episode he helps about 5 people to show their products, show what they're doing. So,
Yeah, that's cool.
Very
and
cool.
he gives
Very
everybody
cool.
a special time.
Shout out to Action
Yeah.
Bronson.
Yeah.
And he's, like when you see somebody with all those videos and so cool and whatever,
Yeah.
when you get close, you see the energy. It's a real artist, a real creative person, and very sensitive person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what's next for you guys? What do you guys got coming up?
The next thing is Brazil.
Yeah.
We're really trying to build a bridge between both cultures.
Yeah.
Like not focusing here more. So we're going in January. There'll be performances there. We're going to be on TV again. On
Oh,
the radio
wow.
Again.
That's
Yes,
really cool.
Yes, it's going really well. And And
How often are you guys out there?
Hopefully at least twice a year for the tours.
Okay.
But maybe more. But for now, that's what's happening. It's good.
Wow.
Okay.
And yeah, so
So-
that's the goal.
If people want to hear, find out more about you, learn more about what you're doing, hear more of your music, do you guys have a website, YouTube, Instagram? Where can they
You can
find
check
more?
my website. It's DeboraWatts.com. It's Debora without an H.
Okay.
WATTS.com. And John didn't mention he doesn't do only Brazilian music. He has his own website, JohnAllenWatts.com. He's a musical theater guy. He writes
Okay.
classical music and did some movie scoring. So
Really?
Well, tell us about the
tell us
movies.
about
What
the movies.
movies?
So we need
Movies.
to hear about this.
Censored was one.
That's actually the least of what I've done.
But
Okay.
I did a movie.
Oh man!
It's like it's like you just pick like one funny little thing, but it's
no,
right?
it's the kids. We've done a lot. We produced people, and
You've been around, so
Your wife is giving you props right now, man. Just take it,
Awesome.
you know.
Yeah,
You
it's like-
you just say thank you. That's it, you know.
no, he's a real Brazilian. He's a real supporter of our Brazilian artists too.
He's got that Brazilian soul.
Yeah, he plans to sponsor some recordings in Brazil too from other artists that he has seen.
Right.
So he's a
it's like a
non-stop.
long-term thing. Yeah, I mean,
You know.
yeah, I mean, there's always something ahead. I mean, yeah, I did a film, Freaks Uncensored. That was actually the title.
It was very, as I have an accent,
you
so.
know.
What kind of movie was that?
It was a movie about the freak show industry. Actually, it was a really
Very
cool
good documentary.
and it was just
Wow.
literally like somebody down the hallway heard me playing piano, and I just did a whole score on piano. This was like a long
That's
time
really
ago, but,
cool.
You know, it was kind
Wow.
of funny because it got reviewed by the New York Times, but I don't do film scoring. I'm actually a musical theater composer these days, and I just went to NYU, got my master's in that, which was really fun.
Wow.
A lot of
Wow,
young
man.
kids, and it was
Congrats.
really- thank you. It was really kind of cool. You know, before that, I played in a lot of bands and hippie bands and rock bands and R&B bands, and even in the day when hip hop was just starting, we were playing that music.
Okay.
Like in
Wow.
the 80s, believe it
I need
Like
to
when,
hear.
when the Bronx was popping, right? Okay.
I need to
Okay.
hear. I need to hear one of your R&B joints. I need
Okay.
to hear one of that, man. I'm very curious. That's really cool. That's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, it's been 20 years to get the Brazilian thing, you know, reasonably under my belt. But the cool thing is Debora just started writing music. So, like, you know, we didn't expect this to happen. So
When you
we're
live
like,
with a composer, the muse is in the bed, right?
Yeah, there you go.
close
There
to
you
you.
go.
she
He's right
starts
there. Yeah.
writing
Eventually
these
she talks to
songs,
me
Yeah.
and they're great tunes. I'm the songwriter. So I'm
That's
not
a
gonna say
natural
that.
progression,
Yeah,
right?
it's- So she wrote the entire album.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
on Spotify. It's just called, what's it called?
Un samba ao
Un
contrário.
Samba ao
He's a
Contrário.
producer. He forgot the name.
Yeah.
I told you that drink is gonna get to him.
There you go. We gave him a couple. He
It's the
he
beer,
came over
okay?
before. He was drinking.
it's
So
the
yeah.
So we go to Brazil. We record the album in one day, actually 2 days. But we gave ourselves 2 days, but we recorded 14 songs in one day.
That's a
How
lot.
often does that
That's
happen?
crazy.
It is crazy.
That's a
it's-
lot.
But it was his way of working too. He got there, he looked at the guys, and he has a good sensitivity because, for me, I know the guys are very professional, but they're laughing so much. I was like, this is not gonna happen because they're cracking jokes all the time, and I was
And
like,
Brazilian, they show up
we only
late,
have
you
2
know.
days doing this. So, John looks at them and says, you guys know what you're doing. Just look at the chart, but I'm not gonna give you any arrangements or anything. You gotta do what you feel. They're like, really? Then they did an album in one day, 14
Wow.
songs.
Wow. Wow.
Wasn't that cool?
One day.
One day.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
And
incredible.
He gave them a lot of freedom. I think he perceived what was going on. He said, I'm not gonna direct anything. Let them just be.
Well, we had really
know?
amazing guys in the room. These guys are world class.
Wow.
And that makes a difference, you know. And they were just having it was like a party. We just had
It was
a
beautiful.
fun time. Right?
You guys really seem like the vibe I'm getting from you guys. You guys just like, you know, you're doing what you love. You're just having a good time doing it.
We're very fortunate, you know.
Yeah,
It's like-
we're very fortunate.
I mean,
Yeah.
anybody that's doing what they love, you know, if you can do that, you don't have a job. You know, you're just.
Yeah. You don't have a job. You're doing what
I
you
mean,
love.
You might have a job. I have a job too, but you know, everything is good because you always got something that's creative and interesting and exciting. You know, and you're always looking for the next thing, and you know, you're attracting actually what's happening. You're not really going out for it anymore. I think when you're younger, you're kind of like, at least in the old days, you used to try to, you know, get the record deal and wait for somebody else to do something for us, and it's like. You guys are in a whole different world now. You realize
With the
we're
internet.
making it happen here with our Zoom and our blog, and we're not dependent on it. When I grew up, it was really old school. Like you had to wait for somebody else to hand you a contract, or you weren't anybody. Now it's not like that. You make it
It's
happen.
better.
Or
now-
hand some stuff out your back of your
Yeah.
Jeep, right?
Right.
Exactly. You know,
Right.
and like, okay,
Yeah.
by the way, here's my soul, and here's my, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like,
Is everything I own, right?
Yeah.
And I love the social media. Everybody has a chance to show their material.
That's true.
Everybody can record. Like everybody's
It's
having a
beautiful.
chance.
It's a very beautiful thing.
It levels the playing field to a certain extent, but it does give people who may have been voiceless before in a previous generation, at least it gives them somewhat of an opportunity to kind of display their talents. So I definitely agree. I mean, I wasn't a fan of social media until I got into Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. I mean, I just used it sparingly, you know, just throw up a couple of family pictures here and there. But I really came to appreciate it once we started Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. I mean, how important it is and the kind of platform it is and the reach you can get. So it's pretty cool. And I think what you guys doing is amazing. And the fact that you guys are a couple and you're doing it together is just a beautiful thing. I mean, you know, cheers to you
well,
guys.
that makes it harder, actually. But everything else you said is true.
Oh, you're gonna be talking about that after the show, buddy. You're talking about that. No, but it's awesome. I mean, your set was really cool. I enjoyed it. I like that Brazilian style. I think it's so like the music. It's like, you know, I'm a novice when it comes to that, but it's just kind of like a velvety, smooth kind of rhythm, and it's just kind of like it speaks to your soul, and I really dig it. I think the music you guys make is awesome. I mean, I think it's kind of it's beautiful, and I dig what you guys are doing, and I'd love to hear more about you guys too. Do you guys have like a YouTube with there's like
Yeah,
videos, things
yes.
like
Got a
that?
great
So-
YouTube
We have a
channel,
lot of
yeah.
videos. It's Debora Watts also.
Deborah Watts.
Yeah, for all the Brazilian videos.
All right, very very
She
cool.
has the social media thing down. I'm like, I can barely get on Facebook. No. But,
Well, you're the
yeah,
producer,
yeah,
and
I'm
she's the talent. You know, that's the partnership, right? So, Justin, you got any part? I know our guests got to run, but you got any parting thoughts?
If you guys had any, like, okay, so you guys are big into Brazilian music. Outside of you guys, like, who do you recommend for people that are listening?
Oh, so many people.
Well, in New York, or I mean, like,
Just, and even historically, like
Yeah.
Antonio Carlos Jobim or somebody like that. Like, I mean, who are your
Okay, I
inspirations?
tell you my favorite is Chico Buarque.
Okay.
He's for me the songs of Tom Jobim that are the most beautiful. He's the lyricist.
Really?
Yeah, he is just like great combination. Edu Lobo, also he works also with the Chico Buarque. And then I like to go back to the 1800s, like the chorinho style of music when
Really?
classical started just blending with the popular,
Yeah.
the samba, with the African rhythms. It's very strong. So there is Chiquinha Gonzaga, Ernesto Nazaré. They're old stuff, but once you hear that, you can play anything because you get the essence.
Right.
You know,
It's very cool.
I hear the new stuff, but I really like
The old stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Perry, any parting thoughts, questions, my friend?
No, I guess just great tunes. I grew up listening to jazz and definitely heard Taste of Joe Beam, which is a nice remix, if you will, of a lot of the classics.
Yeah.
But yeah, great tunes tonight. Awesome to hear.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, we have to ask him a beer question, don't we?
Of course, you can't leave without a beer question. You can't leave without a beer question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think let's both ask him one, right? So I'll ask my first one. So I think I know the answer, but I mean, we gave you a couple of beers. I mean, is anything that really kind of stood out to you where you were like, wow? I mean, craft beer is something.
Which one was that you gave me?
The first one was Other Half Green Power.
Okay.
That was amazing.
I gotta say, I've never had anything quite as amazing as that.
Okay.
In the world of beer,
Yes.
which is saying a lot, right?
Sure.
I've had a few pints in my life.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
amazing stuff. And the other one was great too.
Oh, that was the Saison from Cooperstown.
Yes.
Yeah. That was Omer Gang, which was very nice Saison.
And I love that it's made in Cooperstown. 'Cause
Baseball.
Well, no, you guys got some additional history in Cooperstown, right?
Oh, wow.
I lived
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
That's how when I moved to the U.S. I lived there for
when she
5
couldn't speak
months.
English.
Out of all places in the world, it's like, hey, let's
How do
move
you
to the
wind up here?
baseball.
So wait, when you first met,
Hall
she
of Fame.
couldn't. She could not speak English.
She could.
Okay.
This
No,
was
I
before
could.
we met. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
John is my second marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to make a huge mistake before.
Yes.
Look, so that
like
you
that.
got to weed out the bad ones to get to the good
She
one.
wouldn't have wound up here, so it's like, yeah.
That's awesome. See, look, Cooperstown, a special place. There you go. There you go. Justin, any parting questions?
No, you asked the question that I had. Just if you
What are
enjoyed
you
any
guys
beers.
doing
Yeah,
next? Where are you
what
guys
would you
going
do?
next?
Oh, well, I mean, we
Wow.
can talk December 1st.
December 1st, we might be coming back here at Absurd Conclave for a special RSVP only event at Absurd Conclave. It should be interesting. They're still ironing out the particulars. I think it could be an interesting event. We also have an art event in not here but in Brooklyn. It's artist, musician, and of course us. So that means beer. And we're in the new year. We're in discussion with a couple of breweries that we're going to do shows at. So I mean, our goal is to just keep pumping out episodes. I mean, when we first started this thing, the first 6 months, it was just kind of like figuring out our legs, how this process would work. We weren't doing shows. Initially we wanted to do shows every 2 weeks, but that didn't always happen. But now we're in a really good place. The last 3 months, we've been doing shows once a week.
Yeah.
We've been seeing really good responses from folks, and we just want to keep this moving, keep this rolling, bigger, better. And for us, it's the focus is craft beer, but as we always say, craft beer is the conduit to life. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be totally craft beer centric. We love having artists such as you guys on the show talk about your passions, talk about where you're from, your backgrounds, what inspires you, while we drink beer. And that's kind of where we see the show evolving to. But certainly, anytime there's good beer and we can get totally shit faced, we were there. So,
So basically, what he's saying is like, we done a good job, but in 2018 we're gonna like kick down some doors of some brewers
I
that
can
we
feel
that we want to interview, and
Yeah.
we're gonna make them let us interview them.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
that's what's happening.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're gonna do like I had a podcast for 8 years, 10 years,
It's a really successful
and
podcast.
like a hip hop podcast. We're gonna do like some collaborations there too.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely expand. Definitely, it's always gonna be beer forward, craft beer forward, but it's we're gonna expand as far as the subject matter, but always with craft beer as the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but enough about us.
Cool.
I mean, you
look forward
guys.
to
Yeah.
the next episodes.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for having us.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate you coming on the show. We love your sounds. I think it's really cool, and
Sure.
yeah. I mean, all we can say is cheers.
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 Cheers, guys. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. I'll clap that up.
We really hope you enjoyed listening to us pound some craft beer and talk about it, as well as hang with these engaging and talented artists at Absurd Conclave. And we did it all for a good cause to support Puerto Rican hurricane relief. We're back next week with part 2 of this great event, so stay tuned. We've also got a lot of exciting events coming up. It's time to give thanks, and BTBT would like to thank all of our listeners for supporting the show. Thank you all so much. All of you fucking rock. We hope you have a safe, happy, and craft beer-filled Thanksgiving. No matter where you are in the world, drink local, drink fresh, repeat. Cheers.